Cup final coverage, and today on DFO Live with Frank, I went through like what are some of the big questions on either side of this matchup, and I think one for Edmonton, the easiest one to answer because we've heard it a little bit, and it was happening in the DFO Live chat. It was like, oh, you wait, McDavid hasn't played this Panthers team yet, or there's a lot of, oh, it's their first Cup final. How are the Oilers going to handle it? I don't think Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, in fact, I know Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl have never given us a reason to doubt them in something like this. Like in big games and playoff games and all of this stuff, they've come through. Frank called him the best player, Leon Draisaitl, that is the best playoff performer of his generation. And the numbers back that up. I think any talk about this moment potentially being too big for the Oilers' big guns, it's false. I think there's maybe other guys you can be worried about, but for the Oilers, that's not a worry for me.
I think that narrative should have gone out of the way when you get into the Western Conference Finals and you win that game 1 in Dallas. Despite blowing that 2-goal lead, the Oilers clearly were the dominant team in that game, and I think the team that deserved to win. Granted, the next 2 games, I think they were in favor of Dallas, and that's fair, but the narrative that the Oilers aren't showing up anymore in these big games is just wrong. Like you said, McDavid and Draisaitl are 2 of the best players to play in the Stanley Cup in this era of players, right? So I'm fully expecting them to be able to show up tomorrow and Monday here at the what's this arena called again?
Amerant Bank Arena.
The Amerant Bank Arena. So very nice arena too, I might add. But yeah, I'm excited to get things going. It seemed like the Panthers today, from what we saw in the media avails, obviously very relaxed about things. A lot of them have been here before. And one thing Kachuk said too, and Frank has brought up, is like how healthy they are now.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting storyline going into it. But I really think that's just a good thing for the NHL to have 2 teams who are pretty healthy going into it. It's very rare that you probably get 2 matchups like this where you really are getting strength on strength.
No one's gone through a major injury yet to this point. Like, again,
Fingers
a
crossed.
lot of teams, by the time you get to this point, there's someone who is either knowingly playing through something very severe, like Frank talked about Montour and Ekblad last year, having to get surgery that kept them out all the way until December. Like, guys are banged up. Vander Kane, though, is skating today.
Yeah, like which is a really positive sign.
Like, it seems like we're trending towards both teams 100% healthy heading into these playoffs, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The Oilers haven't dealt with injuries. They've dealt with bad play from certain players. Obviously, we saw the Skinner, Darnell Nurse. They've had McLeod and Fogle who have not done. They have 2 goals together offensively, and Fogle's came on them tonight in game 1 of the playoffs against the Kings. So that's what the Oilers have dealt with, is just guys not being able to play at their level. But it's a Stanley Cup final now. We spoke about it yesterday with being like, how does Fogle fit into this lineup? It's like, well, you don't need Fogle to be good the rest of the week. You just need him to be good for essentially 4 wins.
And
right?
that's the wild part about where we're at right now. The margins in this series are they're going to be razor thin.
Yeah.
And we talked with John Goins on DFO Live about just how close it's going to be. It's going to be razor thin. Every game is going to come down to a handful of bounces, which is wild. Like, again, and that's why I'm for putting a guy like Fogle in the lineup, I think, because I think the chances of him breaking loose and getting a breakaway. He might, again, he doesn't score on a lot of them, but still.
Saw it in Dallas in game 1, going back to that, right? He had that great chance, and you wonder if he scores that, what happens, right? And he came so close, and even with like the fumble he made, it wasn't too far away from trickling in anyway, but you're right. Like, and it's the same argument you made with McLeod and Derek Ryan when we were down in Dallas again, of like, what do you do there? And it's like, well, the upside is in the favor of those guys. And look, you know, you're going to get most nights from Perry, Ryan, those kind of guys, the veteran guys, I guess we'll say, but Fogle is a 20-goal guy. You've got to find a way to like ignite him again.
It's also crazy that like he's a 20-goal scorer, and there's a legitimate argument about if he's good enough to play in your top 12, which says a lot about how this team's looking right now. Rank these players in order of importance to the series, because we know like the Oilers can't just have Connor and Leon running, and we know everyone else needs to be very good. Stuart Skinner, Darnell Nurse, Evander Kane.
Oh, Stuart Skinner's 1.
Did I say them in order?
What did you say? Stuart Skinner, Darnell Nurse, and Evander Kane?
Evander Kane. Kind of one each 3 areas.
I think I would actually put maybe Kane at 2 and Nurse 3, because look, the Oilers have always been a team that can outscore their problems, so they maybe are a bit used to it. So having Evander Kane going again, then McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, and Nuge are going to show up, even boost. So if you have like 6 guys who are rolling offensively, then you're probably in good shape anyway, if you're no matter what your defense is doing. So maybe that counteracts my point too, if having Skinner number 1, but 3 guys, or you need at least 2 of them to be there. Well,
you need 2 of them to be very good, and the third one to at least be passable.
And
right?
Your third one can't be your goalie.
Yeah, Stu's got to be good. Skinner versus Bobrovsky, like I know people are quick to point out Skinner's struggles early on in these playoffs, but I mean, you can also look to Bobrovsky's struggles last year. Like, this isn't a guy with a perfect playoff resume by any means. So he's beatable.
I don't think the matchup is as crazy as people are making it seem. I agree with you there. Like, Bobrovsky is very good, don't get me wrong. And then the story, we went to Target today.
Yeah, we did. We made a Target
run. I was stood in the line for a quick coffee, and there was a couple of gentlemen behind me talking about the goaltending battle. Which was cool, actually, to hear in Florida, because you're not expecting a conversation. And they were just saying how, look at the gauntlet of goalies they've gone through. Shesterkin, Vasilevsky, and Swayman. Like, I don't think Skinner's one of those guys, but I also think when you take away the names and just look at the numbers, Skinner is kind of playing at an elite level in this last little bit.
920 over the last little bit. Go back to the regular season, a 3-month stretch where he was one of the best goalies in the NHL statistically. Like, that means something.
January and 950 the entire month.
That's crazy. That's a whole month of hockey. He's almost back up to a 900 in these playoffs, which is wild considering where he was at one point. I'm
just trying to get a read on where Fogel's playing right now. It looks like I don't see him. That's Henrique and Janmark, though, so that would indicate they're probably still together some way.
Yeah,
they're going around in duos right now, so it's a full.
Yeah, Brown. Isn't that Brown and Fogel? That's Brown and Fogel coming up the ice.
Okay, so it's probably your idea right there. It looks like it might be Brown, Henrique, and Janmark.
Yeah. Way to piece that one together, boss.
Look, we probably help.
Thank you, Frank.
Yeah.
Fogel, McLeod, Perry.
Oh no.
Henrique, Janmark, Brown. We speculated on this yesterday.
They did take out all the right-handed centermen.
Yeah. But that's fine. I think this lineup kind of, and again, shout out to Bob Stauffer for tweeting them out. Shout out to Frank for handing me another phone. I got 2 phones, as Kevin Gates would say. Thank you, Frank. I like spreading it out and attacking this Panthers team with depth.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad play too. I don't love that third line though, to be honest. Like, we've seen it now a few times and it just hasn't worked. I wonder if, like, I just don't think McLeod should be a centerman there. Like, I think I would have done Henrique there.
Nah, I like the 4-line approach. Let us know.
No. I mean, like, I would have put Henrique for the McLeod between Janmark and Brown.
Yeah, because we have seen McLeod.
2 guys who are hot
before. Yeah, you're right. I don't hate that.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.